Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. I'm with my guy Kwaku, and he's going to talk a little bit about the capitulation of Chelsea. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good. I've just about recovered from the result. Yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good. West Brom have really been our nemesis this season, but yeah, man, just about recovered.
Yeah, I remember the first game. In September? It was September the 26th, I'm pretty sure, or
Yeah,
September.
Round about then.
I remember. It was my birthday. I remember you went 3-0 down in that game. Absolute capitulation. And watching that game with you and seeing you break down is probably top 5 moments of my life. So I would have loved to see the goals trickling in for West Brom. What were you thinking throughout the first half? Because even when Thiago Silva got sent off, I wasn't really thinking alarm bells or anything like that. I thought you guys would just go back to a back five. Obviously, you took Ziyech off, didn't you? And I thought it would just be business as normal. But what do you think happened?
Like I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans kind of use sending off as an excuse. There's no excuse in any world for Chelsea to be losing at home 5-2 to West Brom. That's just inexcusable. Thiago Silva was clearly rusty. Even before he got the 2 bookings, he kind of didn't look like himself. Obviously, it's his first game back for a while since he pulled his hamstring. And Christensen's obviously done a great job filling in. And I think you saw Thiago Silva's age a little bit as well as rustiness in terms of his performance. But if you look at the fouls that he gave away, they were as a result of poor passes from out the back. So just from the get-go, we just didn't look ourselves in terms of passing out of the back. We looked kind of bereft of ideas going forward, which has not been unusual for Chelsea since Tuchel's come in, but defensively we've always been able to rely on that. But yeah, Thiago Silva gets sent off. We give them a couple of dangerous opportunities, and it's the goals before half time that killed us. So we're going into half time, or going into the first half at the time, 1-0 up, obviously 10 men. But if we get into half time, I reckon we could drill ourselves and kind of hold on to that, or at least come out the game with a draw. But them scoring 2 goals before half time really, really killed us. And in the second half, we saw West Brom come and play like Brazil, and Chelsea facilitated that as well. So it was just a poor performance all round. There's no real excuse. There's no real there's nothing I can point to explain why we lost like that. It was just unacceptable. And for us to concede 8 goals against West Brom in a single season is just, like I say, unacceptable. What do you think?
Well, mate, I mean, to be honest, I think everyone was so excited about the Premier League being back after the international break. I was actually prepared to watch the game. I'd never watch a game with West Brom in normally, but because it was the first game of the weekend, I set up my weights and everything to work out, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to watch this game. Gassed out my head. First half did not disappoint. I think, like you said, the sending off did change the game big time. It did change the game. It isn't an excuse for it, but it did change the game massively. And I think, like you said, West Brom turned into Brazil. It wasn't just like the way they scored. It was like all the goals were bangers, by the way. Like there was no luck involved in any of their plays. Like as much as when you see a team lose 5-2, 90% of the time you might see a defensive mistake in there, or you might see something that's just like an abundant error. Other than the sending off, West Brom stuck the ball in the net and played some really, really good football. And it almost makes you think, why have they not been playing like this all season? If they can put out another 5-6 games like that for the rest of the season in terms of the levels of performance, they'll get some valuable points, and they can push themselves out the relegation zone. But they might be leaving it a little bit late. There's some statistics. Sorry, carry on. I know we were talking a little bit about it off camera, but there's some statistics that are just baffling, really. Like, obviously, West Brom have scored 32% of their goals this season against Chelsea. Obviously, the 3 in the last game, the 5 in this game. 32% of their goals against one team is outrageous, and I think it's just like they're your nemesis, like you said. What is it, like Callum Robinson has only scored against Chelsea this season? It says it all. It says it all. And the goals he's putting away as well.
They're good goals. And Thiago Silva's had an absolute nightmare against West Brom. So the first game, he made a critical error.
Oh, he slipped. Yeah, he slipped, didn't he? Yeah.
And then obviously this game he gets sent off. So it's just been, it's been a nightmare against West Brom this season. It's not been great. considering we've only conceded 30 goals this season, and 8 of them come against West Brom. It's wild. And it's just crazy to see Tuchel's first defeat as Chelsea manager come at the hands of Sam Allardyce in a 5-2 defeat at home, especially with us having Porto on the horizon on Wednesday. It's not kind of the best warm-up for that game. So that loss came at the worst time, and it busted so many people's accumulators as well. The early 12:30 kickoff, people got Chelsea down to win, and we lose 5-2. A lot of people weren't too happy. But yeah, man, it wasn't a good day. My phone was dinging off. Like, my phone was dinging off. You were messaging me. Our friend Ben Galando, who's also a West Ham fan, messaging me. My phone was just going off. Like, I had about, I think, 30 notifications from different people just like kind of getting onto me. So it wasn't a good day for me on Saturday. No.
Every goal you conceded, I was screenshotting the scoreboard and sending it in the group chats. Taking much appreciation in that. It was. Do you know what? To be completely honest with you, it's a game. As much as you've lost the game, it's a game that you really couldn't afford to lose. You've been let off the hook by somewhat by Tottenham, drawing with Newcastle yesterday, but Liverpool picked up a huge win in terms of their race for the top 4. You got Everton, who have got 2 games in hand. I'm just looking at the table now. I'll put an overlay on the screen. You know, you've got Chelsea, Leicester. Leicester being 5 points clear. They're on 56 points. But then you've got Chelsea, Tottenham, and Liverpool, all on 30 games played. Chelsea 51 points, Tottenham 49, and Liverpool 49. Then you've got West Ham on 49 points, but with a game in hand, and Everton on 46 points, but with 2 games in hand. So if Everton and West Ham both win their games, they'll go above everyone. And West Ham have got quite a favourable run. I don't know. I still don't think we're going to finish top 4, but it is so wide open. I don't think I've seen a Premier League season that's this wide open in terms of games and who can actually finish in the top 4 in a long time. It's so refreshing.
I feel like that's kind of been the race over the last couple of years. We've not really been given the title race, barring a couple of years ago when it was Man City and Liverpool going head to head and it went to the last game of the season. The title race is normally, a team normally runs away with it, but the top 4 races is where it's been at, and also like the relegation or the race kind of avoid relegations where it's been at. So it's going to go right down to the end. It was annoying that Manchester United picked up a win yesterday because they could have got dragged back into it. And Leicester, I don't know, Leicester kind of got soundly beaten by Man City. So I feel like there's possibly 2 places up for grabs. There is possibly 2 places up for grabs, and there's about 6 teams that can finish in the top 4. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to go right down to the last day of the season, and it's to literally take your pick. But I am very worried about Liverpool. They're on the march, and Klopp's got his players playing, it looks like.
Go on and say it with your chest. So if you think there's 2 places up for grabs, what are you saying the final top 4 is then?
The final top 4, I think it's boring. It's going to be Man City, obviously, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. You
think Leicester are going to drop 5 points and fall out of the top 4, yeah?
Yeah, I actually do.
Oh, okay. I'm actually going to back Leicester. I feel like at a point when they needed a player, they were getting a lot of injuries. They've had Iheanacho come in, win Player of the Month. I think Leicester have got enough in them to finish in the top 4 this season, and I think they will do. I think the final spot, like do you know what I mean? It's like you could. It's like pointing to blindly to a picture on a wall. You know, like, I feel like it could be any of 4 teams. I think the most likely is Chelsea, because I feel like it's in Chelsea's hands. But yeah, I want to say West Ham just because I'm a West Ham fan. You know, so I'm going to back the boys and say West Ham finishing 4th. If we can finish every single game and pending Declan Rice isn't injured. But yeah, it's going to be a mad finish.
It's going
to the rest of the season. But yeah, guys, we'll be back tomorrow anyway. Kwaku, where can they find us?
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, it's at We Talk Football Podcast. On Twitter, it's WTF Podcast 90. We're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more videos tomorrow.
Cheers.
Nice one, guys.